Welcome to Salazar Nation and Salazar Art Nation. This will be on 2 channels. I'm Frank Salazar, and I have something to show you, but before I show you, I have a bit of a confession. I am a Backstreet Boys fan. And what I'm going to show you is this book for the fans that came out in 2001. That's when it was published by Fans Illustrated, and I have it right here. I just got my copy yesterday, and I ordered this on eBay. And why did I buy this? Well, I'm in it, and I will be showing you some of the pages that I'm in. I'm in it 3 times. There's 3 pages where I'm in. One of them is a little bio, and it has my photo, that has a quote and my name and some information. 2 other pages, I have a quote on each page. So I have a total of 3 quotes and 1 photo in this book. Everyone who submitted into this book did get a bio, but not everyone submitted photos. Thankfully, I was able to do that, and I will talk a little bit more about that process. And I will share how I got into this book and how I became a fan and why I had to rebuy a copy. But before that, let's take a look and see what's in this book. And so this is the tome that is Fans of the Millennium, the Backstreet Boys, by Fans Illustrated. So it does come with a dust cover. This is what it looks like without the dust cover. And it's in fairly good condition for it being quite a few years old and being used. I don't know how many people owned it before me, but it is in good condition. Let me put this back. Here you have a little bio on each of the boys. That's AJ. And so he just had a birthday. And we were born on the same year. So we are the same age, except he's older by a few months. So right now we're not the same age, but we will be in a few months. Brian, Howie, Kevin, and Nick. So that's the inside of that book cover. So we're going to go through some of the pages here in the beginning. There's some information there. All right. So those have chapters, and let's see. And this is where we have the fan profiles. So that's where my picture is. There's the crazy stories section. I don't necessarily have a crazy story, but I do have a few stories, and one of them is how I became a fan of the Backstreet Boys. Now, it started with my niece and me just wanting to do something for my niece. So she was the one that was more of a fan. I think she had liked other groups, but Backstreet Boys was the one that was a little bit more prominent. I actually don't know if she's still a fan. But I would go to the library and I would print out Backstreet Boys pictures and information for her. And during doing all that, I was finding out more information, how, where they got the name, how they met, and just a little bit more about their lives. The 2 of them are related. So just finding out all this information and print out all this stuff for my niece. That's pretty much how it started. Initially, I would make fun of them. Like, oh, they're a boy band, just like New Kids on the Block. And I used to make fun of New Kids on the Block too. And that's how it began. Originally, I just listened to them to mock them. But because I was doing this stuff for my niece, I was actually learning more, and I did like the songs. I really enjoyed them, so I became a fan. And back then, it was a little harder for me to get music. It's not like now where I can just Google it. So I had to catch their songs on the radio. And I would start listening to some of the Backstreet Boys songs that I could catch here and there, just to kind of like to mock it. Really, that's all it was, just to make fun of it. But I started to enjoy it. I started to like it. I started to resonate with the music, and I thought it was cool. So I would try to catch them on the radio, try to record it off my cassette player. I had a radio that was a cassette recorder combo, and it also had the with the radio. You could you could listen to the radio. So I would record music off the radio, and I could also just record straight from the TV. Uh, well, not straight from the TV. I would put the recorder in front of the TV, and I would just play the whatever show, whatever theme song, whatever audio I wanted to catch. I would record it, and that was mostly how I would get my music and how I would listen to Backstreet Boys songs. Uh, and one Christmas, my mom bought me a cassette of the Backstreet Boys. It was their self-titled album, just Backstreet Boys. So I would listen to that all the time, and then eventually I bought CDs, and I would buy other Backstreet Boys stuff, anything that I could find that I thought was cool. Uh, but around this time, because I was already older, I was in my 20s and a guy, and most people that listen to uh, Backstreet Boys or just boy bands in general back then was the girls. Now, not so much. I have found other male fans that uh, they love the Backstreet Boys. They love their music, and they're dudes. But back then, it was kind of hard to find that. So I did get made fun of. My family kind of poked fun a little bit. Nothing too bad. Yeah. I was an adult, so I could take it. And as I mentioned, my mom bought me my first cassette. And so for the most part, my family was pretty supportive. I mean, they knew it's music that I like. I really enjoyed it, and I would share it with my mom, and we would listen to songs together, and she would tell me, "Oh, this one's my favorite song of theirs." So that was cool. But outside of my family, that's when my friends and coworkers would kind of make fun of it. But I decided I'm not gonna let others dictate what kind of music that I like, what kind of music that I listen to. And around this time, I told everyone, like, yeah, cool. I used to go by the name Backstreet Frank. That was my username online. Uh, and some of my friends would still kind of make fun of it, but they would ask questions about certain songs, and especially at work, the radio will be playing, and one of their songs will come on, and they're like, "Oh, hey Frank, well, what song is that?" Like, "Oh yeah, that's from their newest album." In hindsight, it really wasn't that bad. I mean, I did have people that would kind of tease me, but for the most part, it was fine. But I was looking for like-minded individuals. I was looking for fans to connect with, and I found a lot of different websites. Yahoo used to have Yahoo groups, so those were like mini forums or like mini Discord servers where it was just about a niche topic. So people could make groups about anything, and there would be quite a few Backstreet Boys Yahoo groups. So I joined all the ones that I could find, and I would go on websites and on different social medias that we had back then, and I would just find people that were also fans, and we would just talk about Backstreet Boys, talk about other stuff than what we're doing in the day, but just sharing our love for the fandom. And I found a really good community. I no longer have access to any of them. I didn't keep in touch for that long. Overall, the BSB community was very good to me. So no complaints about that. It was during that time that I started receiving emails. I would sign up for things, and I would click on different things on different sites, Backstreet Boys related. So I got an email from the Fans of the Illustrated people with an offer. You could be in a book about fans of the Backstreet Boys. So this was a book celebrating the fans. So I thought that was really cool. At that time, I don't think I had a scanner, or my scanner wasn't working, but I didn't have a way to submit photos. So I physically mailed pictures to another friend online. I forgot where they're from, but I had to send stuff off to them, and they scanned it and they sent me the images in an email, and then they returned my actual photos and art. I think I sent some art as well, uh, and that's how I was able to submit photos and some drawings into this book. They only chose one photo. It's my my profile photo in this book, the fan profile. But I also submitted a lot of information. Essentially, I wrote an essay, and they took excerpts of that, and those became little sections of quotes in this book. So there are 3 quotes in this book. One has the my picture, one is in my bio, and there are 2 other quotes in 2 different pages in this book. And at the time, I used to work at Whataburger. I think the question was, what would you ask the Backstreet Boys? Something like that. I don't remember, but at the time, I was working at Whataburger in Texas, and that's primarily where Whataburgers were located. Now they're all over, but back then it was mainly in Texas. So have any of you tried a Whataburger? They are very tasty. There's my name on there. So yeah, so a little bit of a advertisement for Whataburger. I see someone was also asking about McDonald's. This one, I haven't looked at this in the longest time. So this was a quote of mine that I didn't know was in here when I first bought this book. I did find a different quote, and I found my bio. I had overlooked this one, so for years I thought I only had 2 entries here, but now I know I have 3, so that's pretty cool. And here is one of my quotes. So this one is a little bit longer. Some of my friends make fun of the fact that I'm a guy who's into the Backstreet Boys. That doesn't bother me as much as it used to. Besides that, BSB have inspired me to work on my talents. I may not have a graceful voice like Brian, but I have other talents that make people gasp and awe. And I did get a lot of flack from my friends for saying gasp and awe. Yeah, that's one of my bigger quotes. Oh, look, there's AJ. And there's Nick. All right, so I can show you the bio. So here's my bio. Here's my picture. I had hair then. There's my name, an email, which I had reactivated that email. I don't think it's no longer active. An old website, which you can still find remnants of it on the Wayback Machine. I didn't know until recently. Someone said that they found it, so, and I found it too. So like, oh man, some of this is kind of cringy, but like, yeah, that was it. That was my website. There's my quote. The Backstreet Boys aren't just a band for girls to like. I'm a guy and I love their music. Plus, I think they are cool guys. So yeah, so those are my 3 entries. I'm doing my best not to show personal information for some of the other fans. You can see on mine, it does have a lot of my information, but some of that I know is outdated. And the same could be said for some of these fans, but I don't want to take a chance. So Patricia Shepard did this cool drawing. So yeah, I thought that was cool. I wanted to show that. I wanted to show this little section, which is empty. But it came with pages for autographs. So this is something I would like to do. I have never met the Backstreet Boys. I've never been to a concert. But I would like to go to one of the concerts and take my book, and I can sign it here. And this is the back of the book. Oops. Some cool quotes in here. Am I here? Let's see. I don't think so. Nope. Oh, and it came with this. Fans of the Millennium, the Backstreet Boys, certificate of title, February 2001. And that's how I remember it was in February 2001. And so this is not my original one. This is a copy that I bought recently, because the original one in 2015, after a messy split, which I won't get into, I started to reconnect with old friends and old groups, and they weren't Backstreet Boys fans. It was just people that I know. And I was showing this book, or my original copy, to some of them, and one of them said like, "Oh, you should get rid of it," because it was something shameful. And I hadn't felt shame for being a fan in the longest time. And even now, looking back, it really wasn't that bad. So why am I letting other people shame me now? But that's the mindset I was in. And when that happened, and because I was trying to rebuild my life, I listened, and I regretted right away. I gave them the book, and they said they donated it to a Goodwill. But I regretted it. I didn't want to get rid of it. It was something that I was proud of. And so it was just a few years later, I started looking into it and found there's copies on eBay, but the prices would change. So this book was originally listed for $70. And as much as I wanted it, and as much as I liked it and all that, that's a lot of money to pay for a book that I originally paid $15 for. But it went down in price recently, and I snatched it up. I think it went down to $30. So I bought it as soon as I could. So now I have my book back, or a copy of the book. And I just wanted to share it and let people know, hey, don't let people tell you what you can and can't like. So I used to have other things of the Backstreet Boys. I had some CDs. I had the CDs from Burger King, For the Fans. I had the comic book, Backstreet Project. I had the Burger King Kids Meal figures, the Backstreet Project figures. And those were pretty cool. I liked them. A fan online actually helped me procure the one that I was missing, Howie. Now, I no longer have those. And I think those either got left behind from one of the places that I used to live. I also might have sold them, because I was selling a lot of my stuff, a lot of action figures, because at that time I was going through some hardships. I needed the money, so I sold a lot of stuff. I never sold this, but I did sell a lot of figures that I had, and I think the Backstreet figures went with them. But the CDs and the comic book were actually stolen. And I won't go into details on who stole them. I know who stole them. Yeah, because they perceive them as having a lot of value, and they have value to fans. I don't know if they had any value outside of that. Those are some things that I want to try to buy again and regrow my collection. And it started with this book. Like, I really wanted this book. This is something I was proud of, and I'm still proud of, and I'm even more proud of now that I find that I'm in it 3 times. So it's something I can keep on the shelf. It's something I can show off, I said, hey, I'm in this cool book about the fans, and look at this tome. It's pretty big. And not that many people can say that. I mean, a lot of ladies can say that, but not that many guys. I think there's like only one or two other guys that I saw in here. But that is my story with the Fans of the Millennium, the Backstreet Boys, and how I became a fan, how I lost the book, and a little bit of the stigma. Yeah, I did get called a few things. I do have a story. It's not a pleasant story, that it doesn't put the person in a good light. I want to end this on a positive note. So if there's something that you really enjoy doing, it's not hurting anyone, it brings you joy, and it may even help others, hold on to it. Don't let people tell you what you can and can't like, and celebrate your accomplishments. This has been Frank Salazar, and we'll see you next time.